Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. I'm making this video more as an update. I'm actually not going to be refuting any haters in this video, but this is a continuation of another video that I did on the Dead Sea Scrolls not too long ago, and if you're wondering what that is, I'll be putting that in the description section. If you click on more info, you'll find the link to this other the other video I'm talking about with the Dead Sea Scrolls. With regards to the Dead Sea Scrolls, I'll start off with that topic. I have this book here called the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's edited by Giza Vermaz, and he is a biblical scholar. He has a interest in the historical Jesus and what are the Dead Sea Scrolls. So this is a great book, and I'm referring to the video in which the biblical mystic professor or scholar or whatever, whoever she is in Israel, made the argument that the Essenes were either not real people or the Essenes are not portrayed. She finds it hard to believe they actually existed based on their theological concepts. Well, in that video, I proved that there were two opinions within the sect of the Essenes, that many of them did get married and had families. And so her argument that she cannot believe that this group existed because they were all celibate is rather refuted based on the works of Josephus and things like this. But I realized that her article said that most people who debate her have only read Josephus. They have not read the complete Dead Sea Scrolls. And so since I own this book, the first thing I did is I went to the index and I looked up the term marriage. And what do you know? Even in the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves, they talk about many people in the group of the Essenes getting married, living at home, and things like this. So, I took her challenge, and I refuted it. Another case in point, and because there's a lot of references, and I don't want this video to be extremely long, if you're actually curious as to what the references are, if there's a large demand for the references, I will post them in the description section. For now, you can either take my word for it, or hey, pick yourself up a copy of this book. Like I said, they are in the Dead Sea Scrolls. For example, the Community Scroll talks about the subject and things, or the Community Rule Scroll talks about this in detail. So, what else to talk about then? Well, let's talk about our favorite person here on YouTube, Ozzycda Quran 3. Let's discuss some of the promises I've made in the past and how I'm going to deal with Ozzycda Quran 3 in the future. First off, I'd like to discover a new thing. His name is actually Ben, so I will be referring to him by his first name, which is Ben, until I'm corrected and told that is not really his first name. So from henceforth, and to get you all used to it, I will of course mention Ozzycda Quran 3, also known as Ben, and I will be referring to him. It's easier actually to refer to him as Ben in the videos, because granted his YouTube account name is rather long and kind of tedious, so Ben is just really simple. So anyway, let's talk about Ben. And the thing about Ben is this. Prior, it must be about 2 months ago, I made a video saying that I was going to buy his book and I was going to refute it. And I promised that I was going to do this, and I was going to analyze some other books as well. I have failed in at least doing the first part, which is actually buying his book. Reason for this is because I felt like I didn't want to buy his book. I didn't want to spend money on it. You can call me cheap or what have you. I mean, it was 14 bucks, but I just didn't really have the interest in doing it. Plus, he was dishing out a lot of videos, and so I found that that was enough material to work with. Well, I love it how things seem to fall into place a lot of the time. I love how that kind of works. I was actually invited by two websites which wish to remain anonymous, especially the one that I will be writing for in the future. I've been invited to actually write articles for this one website in particular, and I was trying to think about what I was going to write about. I do have the intent on taking my Robert Spencer book review and actually taking what I said in the videos and actually typing them up. So it will actually be a official Robert Spencer book review and not just a video series. So that will be a major part of what I'm going to be doing, which will take a while, because I have to go through all of my old notes, go through all my videos, all the evidences I brought forward, and I'm going to have to put all that into a article style format. Another project I will be doing is that after this happened, after I was invited to do to write for this website, I was going through Ahmad's Quran 3's, Ben's website entitled InTheNameOfAllah.org, and I noticed that he has a section called Definitions. It's either Definitions of Islam or Definitions of the Quran. And I started reading these definitions. He's got A through Z. And I'm reading them, and they really are like articles. They are essentially his explanations for key terms, people mentioned in the Quran or what have you, people important to Islam, and I found that rather interesting. So what I decided to do is that what I'm going to do for my articles of refutation, I will be refuting his articles on this website. So when the website is finally up and we make a collective announcement for those of us who are involved with it, then you'll know what the website is and you can spread the website around. But for now, just to let you know, those are my two ideas for my projects that I will be writing mainly on this website. The other thing I want to mention about Ben is that I love going by his channel and seeing what sort of questions people ask him, because I find that he's really not that good with people, as it were. Someone asked him a question about 6 days ago what his views were on Christianity and Jesus Christ, and he responded by saying, at 5 days, the next day he responded, "We have a very simple policy. Never ask anyone what their beliefs are, never make any evaluations between beliefs. Our mission, our only objective is to enlighten 80% of humanity, that the would-be victims of the cult of Mohammedan Islam. Reason is also very simple. It is the only belief system in the world that imposes itself upon all human beings through the use of terror, force, humiliation, subjugation, and ignorance. Objective, to destroy this cult belief system based on knowledge of Muhammad, his Quran, and his Sunnah." Please listen and read the comment. Now, for those of you who are watching this, and those of you who are actually logical, compassionate, intelligent human beings, I think a lot of you realize how bigoted and ridiculous that comment, that response, rather, sounded. I don't think I even have to dissect it, but for those of you who really want me to, I will right now. He makes a claim that Islam is, quote, the only belief system. Now, while I do agree with him about 5% of what he said, in other words, I'm willing to confess, as a rational and honest person, that there have been people who have claimed to be Muslims, who were Muslims, that did do acts that do go contrary to Islam, who force things upon people and were abusive. I'm not going to deny that, and were attacking other Muslims and things like this. Of course, I would not take the people who do that. I would look at what the religion has to say about those sort of actions, but that's another topic entirely. What I would like to comment is that to say that throughout the history of religion, Islam is the only religion to do that is actually rather laughable. If you actually believe that, I would have to unequivocally say that you are ignorant. That, to me, is ridiculous. If you look at the history of not only Judaism, but Christianity and many other religions, you would find that the same thing has occurred with those religions: subjugation, terror, psychological trauma, and things like this. But do we hold that accountable to the belief system or some of the people who have actually done it? The choice is up to you. So, with regards to that, that is one thing to keep in mind. Another point I'd like to make is that someone else actually asked him again, or one of his followers wanted to clarify and say, I think the reason behind this person's question is they're curious about how you would respond to Muslims who would say, well, Christianity says this, Christianity says that. In short, Ahmad's Quran 3 responds to his companion by basically saying, well, the thing is that Jews and Christians have ignored about 90% of their scripture, of course, and he actually says, quote, the Bible, there are verses in the Bible that are warmongering and deadly, but he says neither the Christians nor the Jews subscribe to this anymore. I would say that's debatable, but regardless of whether that's true or not, I'd like to say the following. Well, then look at it like this. His cop-out is that he doesn't want to bring up the fact that he's a Christian. He doesn't want to acknowledge that he's a Christian because he knows that many of the things, and I've illustrated this in my past videos, many of the theological things he says are ridiculous could be thrown right back at him if he were to acknowledge and admit his Christian belief. Him not doing that shows that he can just ignore what he is and just bash one religion. And in fact, when you look at his Islam InTheNameOfAllah.org, I would say his introduction sounds very much like an atheist argument. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just want to throw that out there. And I'll be addressing that in my articles. Thank you everyone for watching this update. Peace be with you all.